Hey folks, Tom, your frugal prepper. Check this out. So this car's had a little bit of a noise. Like when you turn it into places, hitting a little bump, it makes this noise. Sounds kind of like maybe it's a loose wheel bearing or something, but it's not. Check this out. This is all loose from the unibody. This whole subframe connector is rotted out. That should make no noise at all. And it's still holding in there because it's got this big subframe connector and bushing here, and that one's still solid. So it's not at the point where it's totally unsafe yet, but it's just gonna make some noise. And there's no fixing that. There's not enough there left to really, this is so rotted, there's not really enough there to weld to or anything. It just, salt gets them all eventually. But that's what the noise is. It's when it's underweight, it's popping and moving around and making noises. And, yeah. The one on the other side is completely solid. And this car isn't too rusty for I think it's a 96. I mean, it's not too terribly rusty. The lines are in pretty good condition. I mean, I've seen much worse. But right here, under this wheel, it's all flaking away and coming apart. It's one of the reasons that no cars last forever in Ohio anyway. So I'm gonna put a new belt on this guy because this belt's squealing. I think it actually needs a belt tensioner. I don't know. It's not too terrible yet, but you can see this should be completely flat, and that tensioner pulley is sticking out a little bit. I think that's what's causing it. The belt doesn't really look that bad, but a new one might help stop it from slipping. Unfortunately, on these 3/8, you know, the belt tensioner has water circulating through it, through these hose connections back here, right here, and then it's got two elbow connectors up here that go into the intake. So it's a pretty major job. Let me see if I can show you that elbow connector. I mean, if you've worked on 3/8 will know about these. But this has the metal ones in it already. They come from the factory of plastic ones, and most people replace them with the Dorman metal ones. But there's two of those. This one I can show you. The other one's buried too deep. But that all has to come apart and get cleaned. Got to pull the alternator off and get in there and do the belt tensioner. I think these belt tensioners are around 80 bucks. Plus it's going to be an hour labor. So I'll let him know if he wants to do it, or if he wants to just put a belt on it. Luckily, I thought this was one that you had to pull the wheel off of and take the one motor mount bolt out to get the belt off of, but this is not one of, oh yeah it is. You gotta take that motor mount bolt and spacer out right down here to get the belt out of this guy. Yeah. So that's one of the older ones. I do believe you do. Yeah, because that comes around that, yep. So it doesn't really, I mean, this belt does not look that bad. It's been replaced relatively recently, but I think the problem is actually this belt tensioner. You can see where it's getting out here. It's working out towards the edge of this, and what will happen eventually is it'll slide off of there. And the belt tensioner's been replaced, but I don't know who replaced it or where it came from. It's certainly not an original one. It's probably under a warranty, probably a lifetime warranty, but without knowing who, what, when, where, and why, it's going to be kind of hard to get it covered under warranty. So I'll just have to let them know what's going on with it. Fortunately, this thing's been here for 3 or 4 weeks. I've been in the hospital, and I've been sick, and I've been busy, and I just have not had a chance to look at it until now. Finally got a few minutes tonight to take a look. So Oh well. We'll see what they want to do. I mean, I think they can still drive it for a while making those noises. Those fire trucks. Yeah, fire trucks coming by earlier. Now they're coming back. But it definitely needs a belt tensioner. And we'll see. I think I would probably just live with the squealing belt for no longer than this car has. I think they had when I was on vacation or something, they had a heater motor go out. Looks like somebody put a new heater motor in it. But yeah, I think they could probably keep it on the road a little longer. So, alright. I'll talk to y'all later. It's Tommy Frugal Prepper. Alright, so the customer does want to replace the belt tensioner on this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and first just unhook the negative battery cable, if I can. This works better with my Nipex, but let's see if I can get it here. Yeah. Come on. Alright, that's unhooked. Looks like we need a couple of 13 millis to get this all up and out of here. And we had a couple 10 millis for back here. Okay. There we go. There's a 13. Take this bracket loose down under here. Take that off. We gotta take this bracket loose. Should have grabbed the 13 short. Didn't. Okay, then this bar runs back here, and it's actually loose. Oh, really? Yeah. At least they fell all the way through. I didn't put that back on. Correct one. Before I take that loose, I better go ahead and get a 15 and take the belt off, or it's going to all be like boing. And I got a little bit of light on the subject. I'm still not sure how much you guys can see through this little viewfinder screen, but you know, we'll see. And I'm going to go ahead and just take our belt loose. There we go. Now we can go ahead and finish taking this out. There is another bolt in here somewhere. Is it there? There is. The newer ones have bolts going down this way, but this one is an older one. Oh, there it is. Right back in there. I feel it. Alright, now we gotta get these two little hose thingies loose and pulled out. And then we're ready to get the bolts out to hold this tensioner on here. Ooh, it's been a while since I've done one of these older style ones. They work basically the same as the new ones, except I think this one has the one coolant elbow built into it. And it has the one plastic one. All the pulleys seem fine. Okay. Now let me get a 8mm or whatever that is down there. Oh yeah, it's an 8. Here's where some coolant starts spilling. Okay, now I gotta figure out where the bolts are to hold this guy on. There's one down there. There's one right there. I thought there was a third one, but maybe there isn't on these older ones. There's one. There's two. Alright, well, we'll take those two out and see what happens. I think those should be 15s. Oh, I can't get the socket off. Hang on. Alright, let me grab my 15. Let me just see if I can reach these. Extension. I'm going to try this little extension. Now I might have to get a shorter one, but that's a 13. Oh, I see. The one bolt here actually goes through the alternator, so that's why there's only two. Okay. There's that one. There's that one. That one looks a little bit, no, that's the same size. Okay. So that's all we should have to do there. Let me get a pry bar. Oh no, I'm using the cheap Harbor Freight pry bar. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know. There we go. There's the old one out of there. Now we'll go get our new one. Alright, built to last, Duralast. The advanced versions of these pumps are really chintzy. I had one I did a while back, and I must have went through 3 of them, because every time you got this bolt and you turned it, it would strip the threads out of it and you couldn't put the belt on it. So I went with the AutoZone version. I don't know, it might be made by the same people with a different name badge on it, we'll see. But I didn't see any complaints. But I saw a bunch of complaints on Advance's website about it. So this should have a couple new O-rings, a new little joint connector. So these little O-rings here will get replaced. Those need cleaned out too. Hang on. Okay. Let me get a towel. I'll try to wipe the crud out of the little groove here. Pieces of old O-ring in there, but not this. It's from like the previous time this was done. Alright, I think that'll seal up okay. So now we'll put the new O-rings on. A lot of times you can get away without replacing these. I mean, if you're just using one from a junkyard or something. But since it comes with them, I like to put them on. Make sure there's not going to be any leaks in the future. And I'll just get a little coolant and wipe on it there. There we go. Just to give it a little lube going in there. And then get a little coolant here and wipe on these. Just to lube them down a little bit. And that'll go in here. Like so. And make sure this is clear, and it is. Sometimes that piece of plastic on this old one will break off down in there. And then you gotta get this. This has another piece back here on it, right here. We're gonna lube that up a little too. Yeah. And that slides in. Now the new ones actually have another plastic piece. They have 2 plastic pieces, the newer ones. These older ones have it built in. There we go. Now we can just put our bolts back in. That one started. Put this one on. Goes down here. That one started. We'll switch our switch out. Now we'll put these back on. Put these little bolts back in. Oop. Don't you fall on me. Alright. I'll put our 8mm back in here. Now these have a little lip on them and you gotta tighten them down in the middle, but this should float a little bit. There we go. There we go. And so they're still loose, but they're kind of locked in there, and they kind of float on that shoulder of that bolt. So now we're ready to put the alternator back. Let me get my 13mm back on here. Oh, come on. Stupid ratchet. There. I'll leave that just a little bit loose so I can wiggle in this bottom bolt. It takes this really long, I do believe. There we go. Tighten this up. Okay. Now we gotta put this piece back on. And it takes this one, it takes two 10mm, but somebody only put one of them back in there. I'll see if I can find another one. It takes this right here. Cross-threading it. Oh, somebody's already cross-threaded it. That's why it was loose. Yeah. Oh. Those threads are pretty boogered up. Let me see if I can find a couple of 10mm and try it here. I found a couple of 13s that are the same thread, so we'll try that. Let me loosen this a little. See if we can get two of these in here. You got this wiring harness that's right in your way, so this one bolt can be a little bit of a pain. That's why most people don't bother to put it back. Oh, that one smooth goes in smooth. So now I just have to hit that with the 13. See what we can do. That one's in. Yeah, there we go. We got them both in there good. All right. I saw that alternator just move over to you really well. So that was kind of leaning out. That was probably part of the belt squeal as well. Okay, now we're ready to put our belt back on. Alright, there we go. So now I need the 15. Nope. Perfect. Sweet. Belt's back on. Now we gotta put our little bracket here back on. Tighten that up. And now, I don't know if you can tell, but that thing is directly in line with the belt. Just like it's supposed to be. It's not all riding out at an angle like this one was. Alright, now I just gotta add some coolant to it and we'll start her up. Put the cover back on it. Get some green 50/50. let me clean up my tools and we'll go get the keys and start her up. I guess it was going fixed up. Y'all can see now that belt tensioner is in alignment. And she's all running well. And I think that alternator, when I put those two bolts in the top of that bracket tight and tightened it over, that thing really, I saw it move a good quarter of an inch back into alignment. So it was a combination of that and that belt tensioner being all wacky. No more squealy belt though. So this belt's perfectly fine. I think he's got his receipt in here with this belt he does. He can take that back and get his money back for it. So he doesn't need a new belt. Alright, that'll save him labor because I don't have to take the motor mount bracket bolt out in order to get under there to remove that belt. Because I probably charge an extra hour of labor for that. So, alright, I'm just going to let it warm up and keep checking the coolant. Alright folks, so that's one squealy belt. It's not squealy anymore. Okay. Get this thing down off the jack stands and call the customer and give him the bill, and it's ready to go. He can take that other belt back. This one's not squealing at all now. I did take here and just rub a little sandpaper over this to help rough up this back surface a little bit where it's been slipping, just to make sure it doesn't slip anymore. It's good to go. So a lot of times I do that. I just take a piece of sandpaper and hold it down on the belt while it's running. And kind of take a little bit of that surface off of the belt where it's just kind of glazed up from where it's been slipping on the smooth side. And yep, she's good to go. Alright, car repair video finally, folks. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.